Yes guys, what is up? Hope everybody is keeping well and welcome back to the channel. Game week 10 is here. I'm just going to move the mic a little bit closer to myself. Game week 10 is here. We've had half a scone, sip of a coffee, nearly burnt my lips then as well, but that doesn't matter. I'll let it cool and I'll drink it throughout this stream, but hope everybody is keeping well. Game week 10 is here. As you can tell by the title, 5 free transfers made, mini wildcard. You can see it on screen there then as well. But yeah, hope everybody is keeping well. Hope you enjoyed yourself over this Halloween and you're not too shook after your nights out last night. I kept it quiet last night. I stayed in and I can enjoy myself tonight once this stream is out of the way. But who have we in the chat there? We've Ryan and Khalid in the chat. Do let us know where else everybody else is watching from in the world. And as always, send in your questions ahead of the Game Week 10 deadline. We're going to take a quick look back to Game Week 9. If there's a few more people joining, we'll add some suspense before I show them or chat through my 5 moves. But this is Game Week 9, below average game week for sure. 42 points. We were 129k overall. We've dropped to, what are we now? 229k. So 100k red arrow wasn't ideal, but yeah. I was at the United game. I was tempted to captain Bruno Fernandes. Don't know how he didn't haul in that game. At least I didn't see the City game. I was worried if I didn't captain Bruno, or if I did captain Bruno, Haaland would have punished me. But thankfully he didn't. I captained him anyway. Doesn't matter. First blank of the season. Bad week last week. Let's rectify this with the 5 free transfers and let's get up the ranks once again. And inside that 100k to 200k is where we want to be after this game week. But Abdul in the chat then as well. Just a quick reminder, if you wouldn't mind giving the stream a like, click and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let's try and get this pushed out to a few more people around the world. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee and hope I don't burn my lip again. But lots to discuss this week. That's a lot better. Lots to discuss this week on what to do with your transfers, what to do with dead players in your team, the likes of João Pedro, Gyökeres, even Van Dijk. I had 3 dead players, even Reinders, that's 4. So I'm going to chat through why I made them transfers, why or what teams I'm targeting and why I've done them. But yeah, let's get through some questions first. What are we saying here? We've Khalid in the chat. Hi Era, I'm facing a problem that I'm 0.1 short in the money to make the 5 transfers. Khalid, if you can't get the Munoz, Lacroix or Guehi is your two players I'll be looking towards. With Guehi, he's probably more chance of an attack and return over Lacroix, but Lacroix has definitely the more potential of getting DEFCON there then as well. I went for Munoz. If you're on my Patreon, I put in my 5 transfers there during the week. Do you know what? Let's chat through the 5 transfers. What I've done. If you watch my YouTube video, these are the 5 ones I was planning on. So Van Dijk has left the team. Small little thing then as well. If I'm going to play Marquis or Semenyo, it's probably going to be Semenyo, but you'd surely expect Gui to start that Chelsea game after the lap is suspended during that cup game during the week. So slight decision to make on who I'm going to captain out of those two. Semenyo obviously has the ownership, and also with Semenyo, I kind of spotted this during the week then as well. If you look at Semenyo's hauls and blanks, he goes from a double-digit haul to 2 blanks, a double-digit haul to 2 blanks, a double-digit haul to 2 blanks. So that would entail if that trend is going to keep going, you'd suspect double-digit haul in Game Week 10. Fingers crossed it is if I do start Semenyo, because that means Haaland will have to get a couple of goals then as well, or City will have to get a couple of goals to combat that Semenyo haul. But let's see how that goes on. Right, the rest of my transfers then. So first off then, if you don't have double Arsenal defence, you need to have double Arsenal defence in your team. I'm seeing a lot of people prioritising going Munoz over a second Arsenal defender. Prioritise a second Arsenal defenders over Munoz this week. Obviously I have Munoz in the team, but I already have Raya in goals. 1 shot on target, or Arsenal have conceded 1 shot on target in their last 3 games. So Raya's taken away with the 6s. But when you even see that shot on target they faced against Crystal Palace last week, it was pretty much a punch from Raya onto Nketiah back to Raya. So it wasn't even a shot on target. Opta had it down as a shot on target, but that's why Arsenal defence has to be priority. Even with Gabriel then as well, fair enough, he didn't get that assist in the first half, hit the bar in the second half. He was very unlucky not to come away with a double-digit return. He got 9 points, just missed out in the DEFCON by 1. and I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a clean sheet, and maybe even some DEFCON or attacking return this weekend against Gabriel. I'm seeing a lot of people, or a few people on Twitter, eyeing up the captaincy on him this week. Nothing wrong with the captaincy on Gabriel. It's just that you have to leave it on Haaland. I'm expecting City to bounce back after the defeat against Villa last week. So play it safe. Depends on your rank. If you're around the 6-7 million mark, no harm in having a bit of fun going Gabriel captain, because I do think it's minimum 6 points he will get from that game. Burnley are a different team from Turf Moor, to be fair, but I do think that clean sheet for Arsenal is all but well and truly locked in already. Anyway, my moves. So Van Dijk is gone, Reinders is gone, Caicedo is gone, Mateta is gone, and Gyökeres is gone. Is that 5? Van Dijk. Oh yeah, João Pedro, Gyökeres, Reinders and Caicedo. Yeah, that's 5. So right, Munoz is Triple Palace. Well, first off, Triple Palace have come in on the basis of these fixtures. Fair enough. United in between. United are picking up some form, but Brentford, Brighton, Wolves and Burnley, 4 games in the next 5 is why I'm targeting triple Crystal Palace there. Munoz, fair enough. He started that cup game during the week. Sarr started as well, scored twice. Mateta came off the bench. He's fine to play this weekend also. And with the fact Nketiah now looks to be sidelined for the next while, then Mateta should be fine to go in the teams then also. How we look in the chat then as well. Do send in your questions ahead of the Game Week 10 deadline. We've an hour and 50 to go until the deadline. Plenty of time to go before the deadline. But as I said, do send in some questions. I've got a lot in the Patreon chat here, so let's get the Patreon open here and go through a few questions. Then we'll go back to my own transfer moves there. Good stuff. We've 27 in the chat then also. If you wouldn't mind going down there, giving the stream a like, let's try and get this pushed out to a few more people around the world. And as always, really do appreciate the new subs on the channel. Sorry, we've got a few since we started. Right, into the Patreon then. A few more questions coming in, which is great to see. Really do appreciate that. Abdullah here in the Patreon. I'm getting him for the bench boost. He has Sunderland, Anderson. Fair enough. If it can be anyone though, this maybe. So he's going Raya, Petrovic, Timber, Munoz, Gabriel, Trufer, Chalobah, Ndiaye, Semenyo, Minta, Sarr, Enzo, Haaland, Mateta, Thiago up front. Not sure if I'd want a Chelsea defender. I'd want a Chelsea. Let's go back to that anyway. He's going Petrovic in goals. Use your money. Right, I'm writing a little essay there. So in the chat here is asking who my bench is there. So I have Mark Gui on the bench, Senesi and Esteve. So it's a strong enough bench to be fair, but this week it obviously isn't. Senesi might come away with some DEFCONs. Dubravka and Esteve against Arsenal, they came up trumps on the bench boost, so that's all I wanted for that week. But Dubravka and Esteve is obviously going to be benched. Guy against Semenyo, probably going to have to go Semenyo on his ownership, but Guy could very much do well against Spurs. I do think he is gonna start that game, as I said, with the lap out suspended, but that's a decision I'm gonna have to make before the deadline. One or two moves there are decisions I'm gonna have to make. Alright, let's get that back up there so you can all see that one little thing there. Right, let's keep this going. Right, Ian, should I play Tarkowski in the fence or Thiago in attack? Thiago is the man in form. Brentford's fixtures, I'm seeing a lot of people jumping onto Thiago this week. Brentford's fixtures aren't ideal after the next couple. He is up against Crystal Palace. I'm on triple Crystal Palace there, Ian. So, but with that, you always start the attacker and he is on penalties. But after that, then they've Newcastle. So Crystal Palace this week, Newcastle. Brighton, fair enough, is a game that can do well in Burnley. Fair enough, okay. Maybe it's just this week for the Brentford lad Thiago. If you're deciding between him and Tarkowski, I'd be going Thiago there. Right, Eddie, what are you saying? Raya, Gabriel, Chalobah, Richards, Sarr, Saka, Enzo, Semenyo, Dewsbury Hall, Mateta, Haaland. Looks good. All good there. Yeah, if you have Richards in your team, start Richards. He should be fine. Short on money there by 0.1. Yeah, a lot of people are missed out on that. Munoz, Gahey over Munoz. Right, plenty to get back on the Patreon. Let's move it back to the YouTube channel here and make sure everyone is alright. No bother, Ryan. Cheers for tuning in. Good man. Or a good woman. Who knows. Hey, mate. Start Rodon or Chalaba. I do have Kudos playing in my team. Rodon or Chalaba. If you already have Kudos, I wouldn't go for a defender and attacker in that team. Maybe go with Rodon. He's got 3 and 5 or something for club and country. That's goals as well. That's attacking returns. So maybe I'd leave Rodon in there over Chalaba. Chelsea defence isn't all that there at the moment too. So I'd probably leave that off there. Ryan in the chat then as well. Ryan, good man. Would you recommend a Rodon to Mukiele transfer? I'd be able to start him over Senesi then. Just play Rodon. I saw a tweet then as well. The teams Everton have faced in their last 3 or 4 games, one of the opposition centre back has scored. So you'd be not very confident, but you wouldn't be surprised to see an attacking return or a goal from Sunderland from a set piece on Monday night. Is it worth a transfer? Probably not. Rodon himself, Ryan, it has a decent shout of an attacking return then also. Paqueta let him run away there last Friday night, and that's how he got his head onto that. So I think Brighton are well set up from set pieces anyway. So no point doing that transfer for a 4-minute defender. Keep Rodon. I hope he played him last week anyway. But no, I wouldn't do that transfer. Munoz or Semenyo this week, Joey. Yeah, surely you can start the 2. Send in the rest of your team there, but surely you can start the 2. Van de Ven or Krupi this week. Not very exciting either of those. Krupi up against Man City. Evan Nielsen is travelling to the Etihad also, I saw, but off Krupi's form, you'd surely expect Krupi to start. Maybe I do expect Chelsea to score anyway, so maybe go with Krupi. He should get the start anyway. He has been ticking along nicely. 3 goals in his last 2, isn't it, for the 4.6 million man? So I'd probably leave it in Krupi. Namakumar free hit this week. It all depends on your team. No, this is 5 free transfers. If you're asking if I use my free hit, I definitely have not. No, I'm keeping it. I think with the double game week news, there was a chance it was going to be a double game week in game week 17 or somewhere around that. But I'd probably save it until later on in the season when there's a chance, or later on in the first half of the season when there's a chance we could be getting a double game week. Not this week anyway, but if you're asking if I made my free hit this week, no I haven't. Just 5 free transfers. Had to get rid of Gyökeres, Reinders, Caicedo. Van Dijk was syncing up the team then also at his price point. Looking at Van Dijk though, there's a chance I do go back from game week 11, 12 onwards. I'll be wanting some Liverpool cover then as well. So if I'm going Bruno Fernandes, or downgrading Bruno Fernandes and upgrading maybe even Senesi or Mukiele to get a Van Dijk back into the team, but could be even a Bruno Fernandes to Gakpo and then get Van Dijk in defence. Or also just looking at Liverpool's fixtures, fair enough, they're not performing. Is it 5 losses or 4 losses in their last 5? Let's get Liverpool's fixtures up here though. It's mad to see Salah not even in the top 10 there. Wow. Of course it's not Van Dijk, it's Virgil on fantasy. But yeah, looking at their fixtures here. So after the City game, Forest, West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds, Brighton. Those 5-6 games after the City game, you need at least 1 Liverpool player, if not 2. So I'll be looking maybe downgrading Bruno Fernandes' fixtures. Let's have a look at them first before I go into it. But I think they've gone spiral after the West Ham game, is it? No, they don't actually. Fair, so I might have to look elsewhere. I have Saka in there. Saka's on the base. I brought Saka in for Gyökeres on the basis of he's a captaincy candidate next week when Haaland has Liverpool. We'll see how Liverpool fare out against Villa tonight, but next week I'm probably eyeing up moving the captaincy away from Erling Haaland. Should have done it last week. Thankfully got away with it with the fact Bruno blanked and Haaland blanked. I lost out in 2 extra points, but Saka's in there just for the potential captaincy next week. Bench boost this, Jack. Who's on the bench boost, Jack? Do let us know. But probably if you have the likes of a Esteve and a Bravka on your bench, I'd leave it until game week 11, isn't it? Yeah, when they've West Ham away from home. Obviously, you'd prefer them to be playing Burnley at home when they're considerably stronger in defence. In front of their home crowd, but Burnley away to West Ham isn't a bad shout next week for a bench boost. And Chelsea have Wolves at home also, so if you have the likes of a Mark Wee on the bench, let's see how he gets on this weekend if he does get the start for Chelsea, which he should. It wouldn't be fair if he didn't. But yeah, I'd be eyeing up that way. Paul Beats in the chat. Paul, good man, let's prioritise you. He's got this team sent in as he is a member on the channel. while I'm going on to Paul's team there, if you wouldn't mind clicking subscribe on the channel and giving a like to the stream, let's try and get this pushed out to a few more people around the world. We've plenty of time before the deadline, and it's only 10 to 12. We'll be going for the next hour and 40 or so. We're on 8 likes, and we've 30 something in the chat here also. If we get to 15 likes in the next couple of minutes and push it out to a few more people, that'd be very, very much appreciated. Right, Paul, what are we saying? Anderson is in contention to play in Game Week 10. Fair enough. Right. Anyway, one free transfer for Paul. Raya, Gabriel, James, Mukulele. I think he's going this week. Let me know, am I saying Mukulele right as well, or how do you pronounce it? One of the lads was taking the mick out of me during the weekend for calling him Ukulele. Anyway, Gabriel, James, Mukulele in defence. I think you're going for this week. Bruno Fernandes, Semenyo, Enzo, Ndai, Sar, Waltermaid, Haaland and João Pedro. You don't have enough money to go from João Pedro to Mateta this week, which is unfortunate. Does that mean you just have to play him, or do you bench him? You have to play Waltermaid and Haaland up front. That's two definitely. Looking at your midfield then, Bruno Fernandes, Semenyo, Enzo, Ndai, Sar, maybe even a 3-5-2 and bench João Pedro. Not ideal. I think probably one of the Chelsea lads have to get benched there. If Enzo is going to be on penalties, which you can only go off that off the information we got on that Fulham game when Enzo took that penalty, maybe it's João Pedro that's going to be benched. No shot on target in his last 3 games, 5 blanks in his last 5, similar to Gyökeres. That's why they've gone out of my team, and it would be typical FPL for João Pedro and Gyökeres to go off on one this week. But to be fair to myself, my luck has been pretty good this season, so maybe it's the week the season starts to spiral. But let's see. I won't jinx myself just yet. But Paul, yeah, I probably would roll the transfer. Looking at that. Michelle Hackett in the chat then as well. A Lutra moment, I think it is. Michelle, how are you? Sanchez or Dubravka this week? Looking at save points, you'd probably go to Dubravka. I think both will concede. Chelsea are away from home. From what I know, yeah, they are. Yeah, Chelsea are away from home. Do Spurs get a goal on that? I do think they do. Maybe start Dubravka just on the fact of getting some save points. Not ideal there, Michelle, but probably more chance of a clean sheet for Sanchez over Dubravka. I think the two of them do concede. Let's hope it's not Arsenal getting a penalty and Saka stepping up to take it. I wouldn't mind a Gyökeres penalty miss for you if Dubravka saves that Gyökeres penalty and Saka might get a rebound. That'd be ideal after taking out Saka or taking out Gyökeres this week. But with them two goalkeepers, I think they're both going to concede. So maybe even toss a coin, but I probably would just go to Dubravka for the save points there. Aiel in the chat, do kudos to Sarah for a hit or not? Not for a hit. I wouldn't do for a hit. Start road on over Senesi, Ryan. With Senesi, he's going to get some DEFCON surely. It's only 2 game weeks this season. He hasn't got DEFCON. He didn't get it last week. He didn't get it again. He got, or did he? Let me just double check before I say that. But I think it's only 2 weeks where he hasn't got DEFCON. So he didn't get it last week against Forest 5. Didn't get it against Fulham. Yeah, 2 weeks where he hasn't got it. That being said, though, against Crystal Palace away from home, he got 20. So against a City team, you'd surely expect him to get it this week. Paul, what are you saying for a hit? Could the hit to get rid of Sarr and Pedro and get Mateta in then? So Pedro out. Who are you getting in for Sarr though, Paul? Let's get your team up here then again. Could the hit get rid of Sarr? No, you do not get rid of Sarr. No, I brought Sarr in. Sarr wasn't really my priority when I wanted to bring in this week. So don't get rid of Sarr. You can't really get rid of Enzo. João Pedro is probably, it's not ideal benching João Pedro this week, but if you did João Pedro and James to Mateta and maybe even Gui in defence, that's not a bad shot actually. What do you make of that, Paul? João Pedro to Mateta and Reece James to Gui. Maybe that's the route to go for. I know it's a -4, but not ideal. But I probably would go for that. Get the Crystal Palace lads in. Concede Chelsea conceding. Also concede them scoring, but concede them conceding in that game. I'm not a big fan of taking hits, but to get the Palace lads in for their run of fixtures, I probably would be going for it. Kevin Turan, how come I don't have your available funds? I don't have available funds even though I follow your lineups. There was price changes during the week. So you might have missed out on that then as well. Make sure to watch the YouTube videos during the week, because I said these 5 free transfers I was going to make. But my Patreon group were the first ones to know about me moves anyway. So if you want to join the Patreon, hop down into the description there, get joining there, Kevin. But yeah, we had it in the YouTube video anyway. So they were the moves I was going to make. If you're priced out of Munoz, go Guehi. You can go even LaCroix for the DEFCON. More chance of an attacking return from Guehi. So maybe go Guehi. Get some Palace cover in there also. Fishing in Fal, good to see a man in the chat. How's it going? It's going well. Hope we're keeping well. Is Bowen worth the hold, or should I sell this week? If you can go from Bowen to Mateta, obviously, what's Bowen? Is he 6'7", 7'8"? No, yeah. So you can. That wasn't even a reference there. I thought he was actually 6'7". Yeah, I probably would go Bowen to Mateta. West Ham up against Newcastle at home. Yeah, I'd take him out and then bring in Mateta. Go for that. Jack McElliott, am I saying that right? Jack McIlligot, sorry. Would you go Kudos and Pedro to Mbeumo and Maltamid if Mateta is already in the team? Keep up the good work. If for free, Jack, get those locked in. I'll be going for those. Patrick, would you play Reinders or Ndai? Play Ndai. He's on penalties. Ndai should have had another return last week. Beto is killing us. Ndai owners. He had a bad miss last week then as well, Beto. So Ndai, I know I'm starting Ukulele in my team, but I do think if Everton score, it will be true Ndai the way he's going. Nice. We've 40 in the chat. We're nearly on 20 likes. If you wouldn't mind giving the stream a like there then as well. Good to see these numbers early on then as well. Stark, Drewsbury, Hall or Reinders, Alex Kelly. Probably out of those, Reinders just. But them 2 players are fairly syncing up your team there. That's why I got rid of Reinders. Might regret it when City's fixtures do turn favourable in the next couple of weeks or so. I'm not saying they haven't been favourable, but just Liverpool and Newcastle after this week. You could even argue you could go against Haaland captain in game week 12. But Leeds, Fulham, Sunderland, West Ham, Forest, Sunderland again from 13 to 19. Will be wanting 2 City lads in your team. So Haaland, see how the midfielders are going then as well. Maybe it is just going to be Haaland. But maybe I might regret selling Reinders if he gets some consistent starts then as well. He's been in and out of the team the last couple of weeks. Fair enough, he's starting in the Premier League. He came off early against Everton, didn't start the Champions League game, but there's going to be games coming thick and fast for City over this Christmas period then as well. Gabriel captain, yes or no? I'm going to put it into the chat because this is very topical on Twitter this week. Would you consider captain and scared of Haaland? Alright, let's see what the chat is saying on that. There's a chance he can do well even from there you go, Rob, 6'7". Yeah, I didn't even mean it. Tempted to triple captain Walter today. You know, I wouldn't. Save it for Haaland against Sunderland or Haaland against Leeds or even Salah against Leeds. Is it game week 13 or game week 14? When those fixtures are there, let's just get them up here on screen then too. I think it's 11 or 12. 13 Haaland against Leeds. 14 Salah against Sunderland. 15 Haaland against Sunderland. So 13, 14, 15 is where you should be looking at your potential triple captaincies there. I wouldn't be using on a Walter this week. Fenerbahce in the chat then as well. Good to see you. Dawn as well. Good to see Dawn. Haven't seen you in a while, Dawn. Hope all is well. Thoughts: Bruno, Jock and Ndai to Mbeumo, Saka, Welbeck, but that would be for a -4. However, I could hold off the Mbeumo move till next week, so no -4. Don't think I'll be getting rid of Ndai. Wouldn't be getting rid of Bruno. Gyökeres, fair enough. If you can do Gyökeres to Mateta, fair, but that's even a kind of luxury transfer with Gyökeres up against Burnley this week. You need to have an Arsenal attacker in your team, so if you're getting rid of Gyökeres, you have to be getting in Saka. Wouldn't be getting rid of Bruno against Nottingham Forest. Very, very unlucky not to have returned last week. Should have had a penalty in the first couple of minutes when Ahmed was fouled. Had a header that just went wide. Verbruggen stopped him late on then as well, and then he technically assisted Mbeumo, but it wasn't a fantasy assist when he let that ball run through for United's fourth and Mbeumo's second. So he was unlucky. His haul is coming. We're just waiting for his haul. Bruno Fernandes, if he got those returns against Fulham, that penalty miss and the penalty miss against Brentford, he'd be, I think, second or third highest scoring midfielder in the game. So his haul is coming. Fingers crossed it's this weekend. Christian, start one of Pedro, Reinders, Mukiele, Senesi or Enzo. One. You can only start one Enzo out of those. Pedro has to be gone to Mateta, even if you can just do Pedro to Mateta. That's what we're doing there. Noel McGovern, Gabriel Captain, what's the stream saying? 22 votes, 32.68, yeah, 32 saying yes, and 68% saying no. Rodgers or Caicedo to start. Dale Brentford, sorry I missed that. Probably Aston Villa up against, if you can do Rodgers to start before even look at Aston Villa against Liverpool, sorry. Rodgers to start, get that done and leave it off there. Brian Cody in the chat, sorry Brian, missed this one. This is a lovely comment. Love the content as always, man. Great to see you doing so well with it and with your fantasy. Couldn't happen to a better fella. Well, first off, thank you for that. Quick one, start Anderson or Guehi this week. Has to be Guehi. Who are Fulham even playing? Fulham are up against Wolves. He is a slight risk, Anderson, then as well, but I'm all in on the Crystal Palace lads, so come join me with the Crystal Palace lads. And thank you for that comment as well. That's always nice to hear. Okay, 12 o'clock, an hour and a half to go until the deadline. What are we saying in the chat then also? We're nearly on we've just passed 20 likes. If we can get close to 30, just go down there, click like on the stream. Let's trying to get this pushed out to a few more people. David in the chat then as well. Pick one please. Mateta plus Mbeumo to João P plus Bruno. So I'm assuming you're going João P and Bruno to Mateta and Mbeumo. I'm assuming you need the funds. I don't think if you can do JP to Mateta yourself, go for that. Or Thiago and Sarr. So JP Reinders to Thiago and Sarr. Or JP and Reinders to Mateta and Stats. Not the last one anyway, definitely not that last one. JP and Reinders to Thiago and Sarr isn't too bad. If you get looking at those, I still would consider keeping Bruno. If you can just do JP to Mateta, go for that. But let us know if you have enough money for that, David. And if you're using 2 free transfers, or if you're taking a hit then as well, let us know. What else have you in the chat? 6-7 Ryan, I know. Start Roofs or Pope this week. Pope against West Ham. I'd be going for that. Yeah, I'd be going Pope. I know West Ham are at home, but give it to Pope. Evening Niall, what's the starting 11? Right, let's get that up. Michael O'Connor in the chat. Michael, let's get the team up on Discord. Also, this is how we're looking for this week so far. Leeds aren't bad. Big strong side. True, Connor. Up against Brighton, though Brighton were decent as well last week. I was getting nervous when they got that second goal with 5 minutes still left to play. But I'd start Rodon over. If I had Rodon, I probably would start him over Mukiele. Right, how are we looking here then? Let's get into the Discord for Michael and see how we're going. What are we saying, Michael? 3 free transfers, 0.1 in the bank. Stung by getting rid of MDV last week. Damn, fair enough. That, to be fair, if you had Van de Ven last week, you're never going to see a return like that. Then again, Defcon 2 goals, clean sheet, 3 bonus, 23 points. That Van de Ven haul, people's team scored less than Van de Ven last week. There's someone in my Patreon then as well complaining that they benched Van de Ven over double Arsenal and Senesi. The 3 of them got a clean sheet then as well, so don't be kicking yourself seeing points on the bench. The sensible move was to play double Arsenal and Senesi. The 3 of them still got a clean sheet. But yeah, right, I'm just going to turn off this because we're going again. That's going to come up on the mic, but it's gone anyway. All good. Yeah, but going back to that Van de Ven haul, double Arsenal and a Bournemouth clean sheet. If you're giving out about benching Van de Ven when you've got 3 clean sheets, you can't be doing that. I'm sorry. Mateta, Sarr, Minta, Richards in for Pedro, Tarkowski, Reinders and Dye. 5 free transfers. So you're taking out Pedro, Tarkowski, Reinders and Dye. Not too bad. And then bringing in Mateta, Sarr, Minta, Richards. Not the worst transfers. Tarkowski, Reinders, Pedro have to go. Not too sure about Ndai. If you can keep Ndai and maybe just do Mateta, Sarr, Richards, bring in the 3 Crystal Palace and keep Ndai, that's what I'd be going for there. Anyway, back to Michael's team here. Raya, Gabriel, Anderson, Michael Keane, Sarr, Ndai, Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, Gyökeres, Haaland captain, Mateta. What have you? 3 free transfers, 0.1 million in the bank. You could nearly roll. Michael. You already have Mateta, so that's fine. You already have Sarr. Team is in a good shape there. You've double Arsenal defence. One thing might maybe letting you down is no Crystal Palace defence, no Munoz, but you can't get to him anyway. Team is good to go there. 3-4-3 roll. 4 free transfers next week. You're in a good position there. Maybe it could be a mistake me making my 5 transfers this week, but I wanted the Crystal Palace lads. Wanted Saka over Gyökeres. I could have just made 3 free transfers and left it at that, but just to make the move to bring in Saka and forget about Gyökeres. Marcus, that's the starting 11 there. Is it up for you on screen there? Yeah, it should be. There we go. Yeah, that's it there then. Grant, thoughts on Trossard, K-Beer? No, Eze over Trossard. Saka is a priority. Saka, Eze, Gyökeres is what I'd be probably going for. Just with Gyökeres, 9 million, he's definitely not living up to his price tag. That being said, if you have Gyökeres in the team, there's nothing wrong with keeping him this week. Giving him the Burnley game. I know if you give him the Burnley game, you're probably going to have to give him the Sunderland game then after. I just went Saka to get him out of the team because he's been stinking it up. Saka came off the bench and scored during the week, but he came off early last week, so I wonder is Arteta managing his minutes? Maybe, well, could be, with the Champions League around the corner then also. But thoughts on Trossard, Kabir? No, I wouldn't be moving for them. You've better shouts in Sarr, Semenyo, maybe even Ndai then as well. But yeah, I wouldn't be going for that. Henry in the chat then as well. Start Xhaka, Mukulele or Reinders. You're probably going to get Defcon off Xhaka. I've a soft spot for Mukulele off that 17 pointer he got for me. So maybe Mukulele there. As I said earlier, last 3 or 4 games, Everton have conceded a goal from a set piece. From what I saw this tweet on Twitter, anyhow. So that would point towards maybe Sunderland getting one from a set piece. Mukulele's on the throw-in, so he might get a cheeky assist from a Rory Delap throw-in. Sod, hi all, forgot the bench boost. Burnley triple up against Leeds in game week 8. Some mess trying to clean it up. Burnley against Leeds in game week 8. Was that? Oh yeah, sorry, that was the one I did it. Damn, triple Burnley. Damn. What's the plan for the bench boost? Looking at that West Ham game maybe in game week 11. If you have the Burnley lads, that could be one you could use a bench boost. And also, don't think we got very lucky going back to that free or the bench boost where the 35 pointer on the bench boost. We got very lucky that week because Leeds should have scored at least one. Dubravka made a save where the ball went under him and then went on to the post, so got very lucky. And then Calvert-Lewin had a header right at the end that just went over. So yeah, we'll take the points and run. Fenerbahce, best one out of Ndai, Sarr, Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai is not going to AFCON, so maybe that is one of the benefits out of the 3. Don't forget though, with AFCON we're getting transfers. We're getting 5 free transfers, so don't be worrying about AFCON. AFCON and DEFCON. Yeah, just get Sarr into the team. He's got a nice run of fixtures for the next couple anyway. Get him in. He's in form. Got 2 during the week, albeit against a very young Liverpool side. But Sarr is your man. Get him in. Rob in the chat. Sorry, Rob. Right, a lot of questions for Rob. JP, out to Mateta is going to cost me -4 if I do it this week, or hold until next week, and I'll sort out in 2 moves. Team sent on Twitter, it's hold and fear the worst, or move and take a -4. Right, let's have a look at the rest of your team here. What are we saying? Quick little coffee break as well. Coffee's getting cold now, so I need to get back into drinking it. Right, anyway, Rob's team, bench and headache, use 2 free transfers and get João Pedro, Kudos and Chalobah to Mateta, Sarr and Richards -4. Nothing wrong with that. I probably would go for the -4, Rob. Get the Palace lads in. They'll probably get +4 on those Chelsea lads, and Chalobah then as well. Yeah, I do think Spurs score against Chelsea. As I said, do those 3 free transfers, get them in, and you'll be saving money as well. If Mateta pops off, if Sarr even pops off over the weekend, they're going to rise 1.2 again before the deadline again next week. So I'd probably just make those moves now, Rob. Sorry I missed that earlier. Good man. How do you afford the funds even we have the same lineup, Kev? But let me just show you. I didn't make my moves till Wednesday as well, but I've 0.2 in the bank. What have you in the bank, Kev? But that's my moves there. 0.2 in the bank. Maybe you missed the price rises during the week. Munoz went up and João Pedro went down. I think Sarr even went up then as well, so that's probably 0.3 or 0.4 you may have lost there. You might be 0.1 or 0.2 priced out, but just so you know, it's not AI. Right then, good stuff. 10 past 12, an hour and 20 to go. Plenty of questions coming in. If you wouldn't mind, keep sending them in, and let's keep you entertained for the next hour and 20 or so. Right then, any differentials then? Yeah, Sarr, I was saying in my video, Sarr was he 7 or 8% owned? What's he now? Just out of curiosity. 10 plus, any 11. Yeah, so he's very, very topical this week. He's 5 free transfers used. Yeah, 5 free transfers are used. Rob, Van de Ven and Rodon on the bench last week. Played, oh my god, Jesus Christ, yeah. Wow. Van de Ven and Rodon on the bench. Played my bench boost the previous week and they scored a combined 1 point. Wow, that is crazy. That being said, like, nobody expected that from Van de Ven. Nobody expected it from Rodon either. That's just the way the game goes. You have to. That is crazy though. What was that? 13 and 23, 35 plus. You got. Oh wow, yeah. Jesus. Okay, I'm on a free hit. Is there anyone you would captain over Haaland this week? Gabriel is a very much outside vote. Anyone over Haaland, probably not. At this stage of the year, probably play it safe. You have Saka then as well away to Burnley, maybe. But I wouldn't be surprised to see an early sub from Saka. Maybe. Gary, well, Niall, would you start Reinders over Van de Ven and Dewsbury Hall? Probably would. The ridiculous urge to bring in Sesko on so music, bro. Hope we're keeping well, man. Sesko, I don't think so. I must let you know where I got this, man. United top with a Guinness logo on it then as well. A few were given out to me for defacing the United one, but I saw it on TikTok and it's actually really good quality. So shout out to that page on TikTok. I can't even remember the name of them, but they're very fast coming then as well. I told him I needed it for the weekend, and he sent it express delivery to me. Sesko then as well. He got his assists last week. There's a few times Bruno could have played him in. Only for good defending from the Brighton lads, but I'd stay away from Sesko. Mateta has to be your priority this week, man. So do get him in. Do get Mateta in over Sesko. Right, then we're nearly on 30 likes. That is very much appreciated, and a few new subs there then as well. If you are watching and you're new to the channel, we are on the road to 10k subs. The channel has been growing lovely so far this season. It helps when you have a good rank also in the game, but there has been some serious work put into this channel, and it would be very appreciated if you are watching. I think there's something like 70% plus of my viewers aren't actually subscribed, so if you're one of them and you watch me, just go down there, click subscribe. It's very much appreciated. Okay, let's get back to this. First 11 this week is starting in Dye over Mukulele. Wow. And Dye is on the bench and he's starting Gui. Play Muke over Senesi. I'm torn between. That's another option I didn't consider. Benching and Dye and starting Gui is another shout you could go for. Let's keep the poll going there. And 36% are considering captain and Gabriel, 64% aren't. Such a balance between the two. Can see the appeal of LaCroix Def come with Guehi. He has a Def kind of goal contribution and it's cheaper, so I've gone Def. I've gone Guehi, no bother. Right, what else have we then? Any lineups we want as well? Maybe United. Bruno's going to start anyway. Did you get tickets for Raw in Belfast, Gary? No, I won't be going to that. I'm meant to be going to the City game during the week with Tops, but I'm just waiting for confirmation on that. I know I support United, but it's to do with me work. But would you start Rodon over Senesi? Prob would start Rodon. Right, a few more here then as well. Is Yoker as a captain option? Field Bournemouth is a very tough game for City. Haaland brutal record against them too. Sorry, I'm being quiet now with someone considering Yoker as captain. Thoughts on Gabriel Saka captaincy over Haaland? Nothing. Who to play, Mukulele or Senesi? Mukulele. And Donnarumma, Gabriel, Senesi, Guehi, Saka, Semenyo, Mbeumo, Caicedo, Bowen, Haaland, captain, Mateta. Right, all good there. Back to the chat here then as well. Would you start Reinders over Van de Ven and Dewsbury Hall? I probably would, yeah. Anyone you captain over Haaland? Maybe a Saka, maybe a Mateta. But I know Haaland hasn't got a great record against Bournemouth. But I think it has to be Haaland captain this week. Maybe next week when he's got Liverpool, I'll float towards a Saka. But I'm leaving it on. I'm leaving it on Haaland. 3 most important players for a free hit this week. Good question. 3 most important players for a free hit. Looking at those teams, first off, then without even putting the Arsenal defenders in it, you have to have 2 on a free hit in it. Gabriel, Timber, maybe put Timber in ahead of Raya, because Raya's ceiling is 6 points. Wow, that coffee's gone terrible now. 3 essential ones: Mateta, Sarr, and Munoz. I'm gonna go all guns blaring on those Crystal Palace lads. Mateta, Sarr, and Munoz. I know Brentford are in good form. Crystal Palace at home though, I do think they do well this week. I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I probably shouldn't, but yeah, triple Crystal Palace in with that mini wild card. So let's see how they do get on. Christopher Duggan in the chat: Reinders to Minta for free. Go for that. Yeah, Minta's a good shout then as well. He did get an assist against United last week. I was keeping a close eye on Minta because I was considering him, to be honest with you. Sarr is obviously the priority over Minta. Minta did kind of fall over himself a few times. The surface on Old Trafford was pretty slippy looking in from the sideline, but nothing wrong with Minta. How are their fixtures and how has he been ticking along? He got an assist last week anyway. Minta, let's get him up here. Leeds, Crystal Palace, Brentford, 5-2-2, 5-9-6. Okay, so he has been ticking along. Okay, Leeds at home, fair enough. Crystal Palace, Brentford, Forest, Villa. Fixtures aren't bad. Brighton are doing well. They're scoring goals as well. So maybe he's worth a punt. If you can't get the Sarr, Minta, fair enough. Start Van de Ven or Rodon there, Fishing and Fall. I know he's got 2 last week, Van de Ven, but there's more chance of Rodon getting an attack in return. Kevin, damn, it was Saka that went up, Sarr and Mateta, so I can't afford anyone to follow your lineup. Any idea for me to readjust again? Do the exact same moves, but instead of Munoz, bring in Guehi, and you're good to go then. Nothing wrong with going Guehi over Munoz if you can't afford him. Reinders, yeah, what else we saying? All good there. I've Fenerbahce, I've Guehi already, but I was planning on bringing in both Munoz and Sarr this week. My team is already looking solid this week, so not sure if using the transfers are necessary. Prioritise Sarr over Munoz if you already have Guehi. If it's the likes of a Reinders to Sarr, definitely do that move. But if your team is well set up and you're considering taking hits, don't do that. Just use your free transfers, and don't do that, is all I will say. Right, what else are we saying? Abdullah here. Then I can just get Anderson. Main thing to do is bench in 11 or 12. Dubravka and Esteve have West Ham in 11. Right, a lot of ones in the chat. What's the voice captain on Saka? It is, yeah. Haaland is going to start, so don't worry. He was running around Manchester in a Joker costume. I don't know if you saw his YouTube video during the week, but he's fine. There's no point worrying about a vice captain. But that being said, there always is a chance, so always choose your second best option for the captaincy. Roller, go in Mateta, Bus. Roll or go in Mateta? Roll, that's so. Roll, need at least an Arsenal attacker. DOD in the chat here, what are we saying? Went wildcard 0 in the bank. Mbeumo captain. Gabriel Cucurella. Not sure. wild card and then bringing in triple Chelsea, I wouldn't be going for that now. Gui out of those. Gui or Reinders, someone asked him play Gui or Reinders, probably play Gui. Van de Ven or Senesi in. Leave them on bench. Right then, do you recommend any changes to my draft team? Leave as is Ash. Grand. And then for my main league team, I can't afford Sarah. Would you play Gui or Caicedo? Mukalele, Richards, Byrne, who to bench? Better. Right, we're powering through in the messages there. Grand. Good stuff. Right, back to the YouTube chat then as well. Flying in questions, which is great to see. An hour and 40 to go. How are we on the like total then? Let's set a new goal. We're nearly on 40 likes, 32 at the moment. If we get to 40 likes in the next couple of minutes, if you're watching and you haven't liked the stream, please consider going down there, just clicking the button, clicking like, and we'll get this pushed out to a few more people before the deadline. Oscar, would you go Gyökeres to Thiago, Bruno to Saka, Reinders to Sarr, or maybe Caicedo to Eze and keep Bruno? All free transfers? No. If you can't get the Saka, just keep Gyökeres this week. I could get the Saka by going Gyökeres, Pedro, Van Dijk is where I got my money for Saka. So keep Gyökeres this week. There's a very good chance Gyökeres could do well, and after me keeping him for 4 or 5 weeks, could be a disaster that he does well this week. But I prefer to have Saka in the team. We don't know who's going to be on penalties. We're still waiting to see who's on penalties. But with the fact Saka took the last one, we just have to go off that information. Might be a mistake, but I wanted Saka in as my Arsenal attacker. Sell Reinders for Minta for free. Yeah, only 0.6 in the bank and 2 free transfers after doing the Mateta to JP move earlier in the week. Also, is triple Palace necessary if you already have a Palace attacker and defender? If you're getting Mateta in, get him in. If you don't have Mateta, get him in. Yeah, better shout than JP. Nketiah is going to be sidelined for the next while with a hamstring injury. Hamstring injuries are a tough one to come back from then as well. You'd surely expect him to be out for 4 weeks. Mateta is going to be the main man for Crystal Palace. Some were saying, is that mean his minutes are going to be even more managed? I don't think so. He's only attacker in the club. And that being said, even if he is subbed off, it's good for Sarr because they'll move Sarr up front. So Sarr and Mateta, get them in if you don't have them. I'm going all out for Crystal Palace lads this week. Senesi or Van de Ven? Thinking of subbing Van de Ven out of pure spite for what he did last week. Wow, yeah, more chance of Senesi getting DEFCON, so I'd go for that. Van de Ven surely doesn't get an attack and return after what he did last week. Yeah, that must be right. That must be right. So Everton must have conceded 3 or 4 goals. Must be 3. So from corners in their last 2-3 games. So if you have a Mukalele, get Mukalele into the team there, and let's see, or even Alderete. If you have Alderete, play him over a Senesi. First off, better chance of a clean sheet for Sunderland the way they're going, and better chance of an attack and return the way Everton are defending from set pieces. Start King or Semenyo? Ruben, that shouldn't even be a question. Sorry, get Semenyo into the team there. Ekitike, Walton mid or Saka as captain? Tempted to go for a differential this week. If you want a differential, Slot said Isak is 99.9% out this weekend, so maybe Ekitike does well against Aston Villa. Out of those, probably would lean towards Saka though. Would you rather keep Reinders or Xhaka in long term? City have the fixtures after the Liverpool game and after the Newcastle game, so maybe Reinders, but with Pep it's hard to know is Reinders going to be consistently starting the way he's subbing him off and benching him in the Champions League, but then he started last week, but then he's playing in a defensive midfielder role then too. Xhaka, you know yourself, we all know he's gonna play 90 most weeks and start every week for Sunderland, so maybe Xhaka is a better long pick. If you're benching these lads every week, are you going to start Reinders every week if you're going to keep him? Maybe not. What's my take on Bruno Guimaraes? Let's get him up here. He got 9, what was it, last week? Bruno G. 6.5 million isn't too bad at all. He got 10, 2, 14. West Ham, Brentford, City, Everton, Spurs. Not fully gone on the Newcastle lads just yet. Walton Maid is probably the better shout for a Newcastle midfielder, or sorry, for a Newcastle attacker. But at that price point, 6.5, Has to be Sarr. Has to be Sarr from Crystal Palace. Get Sarr into your team. Yeah, I mean, if you might already have Sarr, I'd even prefer Ndiaye over Bruno Guimaraes. But Sarr has to be the best shout for a 6.5 million midfielder. Start Guehi, my backline right now is Van de Ven, Gabriel and Chalobah. Bench, there's a decent chance Chalobah could get an attacking return also, but start Guehi, definitely start Guehi over those lads. Gabriel, Guehi, and maybe just Chalobah. I don't see Van de Ven getting a haul after last week. So no. They'll start Caicedo over Anderson, Mukiele, probably over Anderson should be alright for that Wolves game. Would you start Caicedo? Maybe over Anderson. Mukiele, I just have a soft spot for Mukiele. As I said, when he got that 17 pointer, I should have got his jersey. I just didn't want to spend 100 and something quid on a Sunderland jersey, but let's see. Towards the end of the season, I might get something to remember. If the season goes well, I might end up getting a Mukiele jersey, from that bench boost haul. Right then, good stuff. Let's keep this going. A lot of people to get back to then as well. They're on the Patreon, but we'll send this in for now. Right, grand there. What's going on there? Grand. Right, we'll just get that up. Right, an hour and 5 to go. Let's keep this going. Right, cool. Rodon or Senesi this week. Senesi as a defcon, Rodon more chance of an attack and return, so maybe just Rodon. Daniel, is my midfield okay? Where's your question? Send in your midfield, Dan, if you can. Would I do Gyökeres to Thiago, Bruno to Saka, Reijnders to Sarr, or maybe Caicedo to Eze? Don't think I'd do that, no. Keep Bruno this week, even keep Gyökeres this week. It's a luxury. Getting rid of Gyökeres this week was a luxury, and as I said, it could easily backfire this week. Would I take a hit to bring in Tuanzebe for Esteve to Ford Munoz? Not for a hit, no. Captain who? Gabriel, Saka, Haaland. Opposite way around, Haaland, Saka, Gabriel, in that order. Semenyo, Sarr, Bruno G and Xhaka is this mid okay? So you're Semenyo, Sarr, Bruno G and Xhaka. No Bruno Fernandes, no Bukayo Saka. Where's the rest of your money going, Daniel? Let us know. Would it be okay if I put Guehi if I can't afford Munoz, Kevin? Yeah, go for that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Pity you couldn't get to Munoz, but he rose, and there was a few rise and price falls during the week. So just make sure you keep an eye on. Maybe you do, Kevin, already. Just if I said I was going to make those transfers anyway, and try and keep an eye on the price changes if you can at all also. But yeah, start Xhaka or Enzo this week, probably Enzo Fernandez. Are you using 3 or 5 transfers, Fionn? 5 transfers are made. 5 transfers locked in. After 5 weeks of YouTube videos where I was doing nothing, this is the week where I went rogue. and did a lot of moves this week. Alright, good stuff. We're nearly on 40 likes then as well. If we can get to 40 likes, that'd be very much appreciated. 0.9 million in the bank, 1 free transfer. Raya, Timber, Gabriel, triple Arsenal defence. Wow. Mukiele, Munoz, Semenyo, Bruno, Sarr, João Pedro, all good there. 1 free transfer. I probably would be getting rid of João Pedro. For who though? JB to Walt maybe. At that price. Who are you starting in the fence? I'll send in team now. Right, let's get this sent in then. Also, Donnarumma, Dubravka, yeah, three or 5. Fionn, I have the 5 locked in. Donnarumma, Dubravka, Gabriel, Timber, Senesi, Rodon, Alderete, Bruno, Semenyo, Ndiaye, Enzo, JP, Haaland, Gyökeres. One Mateta can't do the swap for Pedro. Not enough funds. Who would you sell? How many free transfers, Hannah, there? Donnarumma, Gabriel, Timber, Alderete is what I'll be going for in your defence this week. Bruno, Semenyo, Ndiaye, Enzo, João Pedro, Haaland, Gyökeres. If you can do, wouldn't even probably get rid of Enzo. You might just have to go JP to Mateta, but where you're going to get your money out of? Gabriel, Timber, Alderete. Downgrading Senesi mightn't work. Let us know how many free transfers, Hannah. If you can get to Mateta in 2 moves, maybe, but if I wouldn't be taking a hit. Sending this in early could be. Right. Do let us know how the rest of it though. Paul, Haaland or Waldemid for the Ironman, either James Seguihi and Pedro Mateta. Good moves. Haaland has to be Haaland. Paul, get Haaland locked in there. Surely it has to be Haaland. Waldemid, I wouldn't be confident on a couple of returns with Haaland. You can always go crazy. Why didn't I bring in Lacroix? I don't know, for Munoz. Munoz is a better pick over Lacroix. Rice or Saka? Fabian has to be Saka. Best Palace triple up in your opinion, mate? The ones I have: Munoz, Sarr and Mateta. You already have Guehi, so the last 2 spots are between Mateta, Sarr and Munoz. Sarr and Mateta if you already have a defender. No point bringing in double Crystal Palace defence. Bench 1, Richards, Anderson, Semenyo, Enzo or Ndai. Anderson there probably is who would be benching. Play Xhaka or Ndai on penalties. Should I play Garner or Isidore? I've Mukiele in the back line. Start Isidore. A goal last week. He's ticking along nicely for Sunderland. What price is he in the game? Let's get him up here. Has he 3 or 4 or 5 goals already? 37 points. 4 goals, fair. I definitely, it's no question at all, start him over Garner, 100%. Get him in over there, right? That's lined up perfectly again. Nice one. Start 3 out of Guehi, Gabriel, Chalobah, Senesi, Van de Ven. Guehi, Gabriel, and probably Chalobah. Maybe that's not a great decision on the last 3 there though. Senesi, he is going to concede, but he's got the better chance of getting DEFCON. Chalobah and Van de Ven both concede. Maybe more chance of a Chalobah return, but maybe just Chalobah. Jaime, start 2 amongst Semenyo, Enzo, Minta. That's tough. Surely you can start all 3. Semenyo, Enzo, Minta. I'd like to be starting all 3 then. Let us know. Surely you can start all 3. Surely. Hawk Twanza. Hey mate, I'm doing Mukiele to Richards. I'm 3.3 short. Who should I buy for Reinders? Wouldn't be taking a hit now to do this move, Hawk. If it's for free, fair enough. Just about. Mukiele, don't get rid for a hit. They could easily do well against. Surely you can do something there. Paul beats Bruno, Semenyo, Enzo, Ndai, Sarr. Who to bench? Let's get your team up here, Paul. Who to bench? JP. I'll be going JP bench there, Paul. Never mind about your midfield is strong. Wouldn't bother. I know it's not ideal benching a striker for Chelsea, but I wouldn't. I prefer him over Enzo. We just have to go off the information we have already. Enzo Fernandez is a penalty taker, so he's meant to be for Chelsea. So I wouldn't bench him over JP. And the way JP is performing, wouldn't be going for it. Right then, under an hour to go. Let's keep this going. Best of luck to Galway United then as well. Last game of the season. Need a draw to stay up. Get that draw, lads. We don't want to be in a relegation playoff. Well, but considering going 5-2-3 in the very near future, what do you think? 5-3-2, yeah, not 5-2-3. Just the options for strikers in the game aren't ideal. There's nothing wrong with going 5 at the back if you have a very strong 5 at the back that are taken away with DEFCONs. Senesi, Gabriel, Timber, even a triple Arsenal defence, and maybe even a Van Dijk in a couple of weeks' time. But if you have 5 strong lads, there's nothing wrong with going for a KSI is playing 5-2-3 at most weeks, or 5-3-2 most weeks. But I'd prioritise 3 midfielders over 3 forwards, just the way the forwards are playing at the moment. not great for returns. Yeah, so I still have a decision to make on Ndiaye, and what to do with Semenyo. Semenyo's probably going to start against City just off his Saka, Walton, or Ekatike as a differential. Saka out of those. Right, let's keep taking on here. I can just bench him and keep for another time. Ended up just making 2 of my 5 free transfers. So Donnarumma, Timber, Munoz, Gabriel, Sarr, Mbeumo, Semenyo, Gakpo, Ndiaye, Haaland, JP. Pedro's still going to get minutes with no Delap. That's fair. Team is looking strong. Yeah, it'd be absolutely typical if João Pedro and Gyökeres haul after I take him out. If I take out the 2 of them this week. So let's see. It'll be typical FPL if I do. Right, let's get a poll going there. So 66% aren't going to go near Gabriel because they're scared of Haaland, which is very fair. There's a chance you could captain Gabriel. I don't think it's the week to go against Haaland. What will we do here now? How many transfers? Can you do 5 options? Surely you can. Or maybe it's just 4. Yeah. See how many transfers people are making. As I said, I just did a can't hear you, man, just as you're replying to my comments as well. Can you hear me all right there? What was I saying to you, Paul? Audio dropping for me. Out of those, I'd be benching João Pedro out of those. Fair enough. The lap is suspended. He's still going to play João Pedro, but with Enzo, with him being on penalties, or so he's meant to be on penalties, I still think you probably bench João Pedro. It's between João Pedro and Enzo. If you want to start João Pedro yourself, I'd be benching Enzo Fernandez there. Hopefully you can hear that. On wildcard, Saka, Enzo, Esteve, or Gakpo, Enzo, Timber already have double Arsenal defence. Saka, Enzo, Esteve. Saka, Enzo, Esteve, yeah. You need an Arsenal attacker. Audio is dropping. I think I was a bit away from the mic, or I think I wasn't even talking. Maybe that's why. I was just replying to. Let me know if the audio is okay, if you can hear me. I'm just looking at it here. It's still going anyway. It should be fine. I'm just looking at it on OBS here. The mic is still moving. Throw a thumbs up in the chat if the mic is still okay, if you can still hear me. But it should be fine. Let me just check actually on this stream quickly. Is it okay? Yeah, we're good. We're still going. I think I just stopped talking when I was replying, that's all. Right then, grand, good stuff. Throw a thumbs up if you can still hear me, but it should be fine. Audio grand, D McDonald, appreciate that. Batter, sausage and chips or pizza? Yavia. Pizza over battered sausage and chips now. I wouldn't be mad for battered sausage. D McDonald, yes mate, hope you're well. My team this week: Pope, Byrne, Gabriel, Munoz, Eze, Semenyo, Gakpo, Enzo, Waltemud, Mateta, Haaland as captain. Pope, Byrne, Gabriel, Munoz, that's a strong defence. Eze, Semenyo, Gakpo, Enzo, Waltemud, Mateta, Haaland as captain. You're good to go. Is Sarr better than Enzo? Would you take a hit? Not for a hit. Sarr is better than Enzo, but I wouldn't be taking a hit for it. 0.1 short to get Saka. Could get Eze and then afford Munoz. Get Saka. Do Guehi instead of Munoz if you can't make my moves. Start 2 Reinders, Alderete, Senesi, Thiago and Alderete is who will be starting out of those. El Chivers, tossing, stinking up my defence. Just be done and get it out for Mukulele, or give it another week. Give it another week. If it's for free, if you have a couple of free transfers, just go for it. But I wouldn't be taking a hit to get him out for Mukulele. -4 for Sarr, Saw Doctor. Who are you taking out? It depends who you're transferring out. If you're transferring out Reinders, maybe just about for a -4 just. But let us know who your moves are. Right then, how are we there? Grand. Right, deadline is in 50 minutes, so keep the questions coming if you can. Okay now, Paul, appreciate that. Start Van de Ven or Esteve. Van de Ven over Esteve. More chance of a clean sheet for Van de Ven, but I do think both are going to concede. Bench Anderson or King from Fulham. Bench King, play Anderson. Better chance of a clean sheet. He should be back into the team anyway. Saka captain, Elixir expert. If you want to go against Haaland, Saka captain is fine. It's fine. Yeah, it still has to be Haaland this week. Cheers, Paul. Okay now. Reinders for Sarah for -4. Saw Doctor. I probably would do it. Rogers earn die for Enzo Fernandez. Rogers earn die. Rogers to Sarah if you can. Prioritise getting in Sarah over Enzo. Is what I'd be saying. Good stuff. Right, Sarah and Reinders out for -4. Saw Doctor. Yeah, I'd be going for that. Price rise screwed me on Saka Thiago. Wouldn't be pushed on Thiago. Saka priority, right. You don't really need to make a transfer. Really great position to be in. Oh, they're already confirmed. Yeah, the 5 transfers are already confirmed. They're already locked in. So now I've no free transfers. 5 transfers are already locked. But yeah, no, they're done. I said on the YouTube video during the week I was going to do these 5, and then I locked them in. My money was not enough. If you can't afford Munoz, you're going to have to go to Guehi. You might be able to afford Munoz now with the price changes. There's a few on Thursday and Friday. What are the planned transfers? FPL Cam. The transfers are locked in there. Mateta, Gui, Sar, did someone else? Saka and Munoz are all brought in. You said I should bench JP, but I transferred him for Mateta, Paul. Apologies, sorry. Yeah, maybe bench Enzo. So out of those, probably Enzo. So if you brought in Mateta, that's all good. Bruno Semenyo, Eze, and Ndai, Sar. Between Enzo and Ndai, I really like Ndai, so I wouldn't be benching Ndai. Just about benching Enzo. Should I go with a forward 3 of Haaland, Walter-Maid? Let me know if that's alright, Paul. Maybe you do want to play Enzo over Ndai. It's very close between Enzo and Ndai. Do you know what? We'll let the poll decide for you, Paul. I'd say start Ndai. Let's see what the chat says. I'm gonna say this is for Paul. Who to bench? I'm gonna say start Ndai. Semenyo versus City worth benching. I do think Bournemouth might get one. And as I said, if you look at Semenyo's trends of his haul, and he gets a haul, blanks for 2, haul, blank for 2, haul, blank for 2, so he's banked in his last 2 games. I'm not that superstitious, but I do think Bournemouth get one against City. I could see that game being 3-1. So I'd still start Semenyo, even with his ownership in the game. I wouldn't be benching him. Why Haaland over Saka? Saka has a way nice fixture. Bournemouth are second. Don't you think it's a good week to go against the crowd? Last week was a good week to go against the crowd. It didn't pay off. I didn't go against it anyway, but it would have been the week to go against the crowd. I don't think it's the week to go against the crowd with Haaland at home. If it was Bournemouth away, probably. If Arsenal were at home, maybe. Turf Moor, Burnley have looked solid at home most weeks, so I prefer Haaland at home for the chance of a haul. Who are you going for captaincy? Yeah, has to be Haaland. Has to be Haaland this week. Saka isn't a bad shout, but I'm on Haaland myself. Right, what else have we then? Start Van de Ven or Chalobah? Just about Chalobah. I think both will concede. Maybe just Chalobah. Just about. Should I go for a forward 3 of Haaland, Walter-Maid and Mateta on sub for a midfield of sub? Okay. Should I go to forward 3 of Haaland, Walter-Maid and Mateta, or sub 1 for midfield? Semenyo, Sarr, Enzo, Xhaka and Bruno G? I'd start Ultimate over Bruno G, or maybe even over Xhaka. Bench Xhaka. Bruno G, Ultimate, Mateta, Haaland, and then Xhaka on the bench. Semenyo, Sarr, Enzo, Bruno G, Xhaka on the bench. Sorry, not Saka. That's what I'll be going for there. Sarr and Reiner's out for a -4. Yeah, go for that. What are the planned transfers? We've done 5. 5 are locked in. New wildcard dilemma: Bruno, Mbeumo, Rice, or Saka, Mbeumo, Enzo. Saka, Mbeumo, Enzo is who I'd be wanting there. Saka is the priority Arsenal defender that you want there, so go the first one, or go the second one. Sorry, Saka, Mbeumo, Enzo. That's what I'd be looking at there. 42 likes, I really do appreciate that. Can we hit 50 likes on the stream? We got a few new subs throughout the stream then also. So if you are watching and you're not subscribed, please do consider hitting subscribe on the channel. We're on the road to 10k subs. The channel is growing well and it's growing steadily, but there's a lot of work being put into this channel every week. So if you are watching and you're not subscribed, please do consider hitting subscribe. It only takes a second to do, and fingers crossed you might hit it. Just need to make sure the ranks are still going well, but let's see. Right, FPL Cam, João Pedro to Thiago, Gyökeres, Mateta, Reinders, Sarr, Bruno Fernandes to Saka. Thoughts? Have 5 free transfers currently. If you can still keep Bruno and do the 5 transfers and still get Saka, if you can do the same thing as what I did, downgrading Gyökeres to Gui, João Pedro to Mateta, Reinders to Sarr, and then surely you've a midfielder, another spot in the team where you can do the likes of a Caicedo or someone like that into the team there. I can only like one's job. Yeah, exactly, nothing wrong with that. You've done your bit, so appreciate that. Good man. FPL Cam though, João Pedro to Mateta, fine. Gyökeres to Gui if you can. Surely you can get Saka in by downgrading Gyökeres to Gui and upgrading someone to Saka, like my moves. Surely you can, and keep Bruno Fernandes in the process too. Captain and Sarr, Elohim. Wow, love that shout. I hope Sarr does really well this week. 11% owned. I think that's why I'm acting fast and I'm going for it. This is the week to jump on board with Crystal Palace. Maybe I'm wrong in that. Are they playing at 3 o'clock? Because I have to do something at 3 o'clock and go. Maybe I won't even see the game. They are. I'll be keeping a close eye on that Crystal Palace game. So triple in that. Even looking at the 3 o'clock games, who have I in the 3? So triple Arsenal, triple Palace. That's 6. Bruno's 7. 7 players playing today. Haaland is 8. Ukulele, Reinders is 10. Who am I missing then? Semenyo. Okay, wow, right. So I've 3, 6, 7 players playing today. We should be on a green arrow with 7 players after today. If we're not in a green arrow after today's games, we're in a bit of bother. Is it worth going -4 for João Pedro to Mateta? Probably would do it, to be honest with you. Get him out of the team. He's been stinking up the last few weeks. Never mind scoring or returning, he's not even getting a shot on target in the last 3 games. 5 blanks in his last 5. His ownership is high. I'd be moving him on. Wildcard dilemma: Bruno and Mbeumo Rice versus Saka and Mbeumo Enzo. Saka and Mbeumo Enzo. James Matthews there. Is it? Yeah. Joseph, should I do João Pedro to Mateta for -4, same as Irla? I probably would do it, yeah. Abdullah, what do you think of Kudos, Anthony, JP for Minta, Rice, Thiago? Minta, nah, I'm not mad on those transfers. Surely you can do Kudos to Sarr, and you might have enough to go from JP to Mateta. Abdullah, have a look at that, see if you can get those in. Are you able to enjoy the footy when you're going so well, or do you completely ignore it and check the results later? I watch the games, no, I do. I just have to film a video around Galway right after this, so that's going to take a couple hours, so I won't get to see the games. But I'm not enjoyable to be around when the football's on, because I'm watching 2 or 3 games at once and constantly checking the other scores and in the other games then as well. So when I'm locked in on the games, it's a bad way to be. I was away with work in Killarney a couple of weeks ago when I had that bench boost, and when Ukulele scored first, I was waiting for Burnley to get that clean sheet. It's not good. We were literally chatting about this in work during the week. Addictions. I'm completely addicted to fantasy football, and I suppose I have to be if I'm doing the content. But yeah, it's just when the games are on at 3 o'clock, I don't think I'm the most enjoyable person to be around, having 2 or 3 games on at once and keeping a close eye on everything. But my friends know that, my girlfriend knows that then as well. But that's what happens when you're so invested in this game. But I try to enjoy the footy. I do. Yavia. Good question though. But yeah. Gyökeres to Thiago, Walter-made. Gyökeres to Thiago or Walter-made. Senesi to Timber or Reinders to Sarr. 2 free transfers, or just roll the transfers to game week 11. Reinders to Sarr if you can do that. If you don't have an Arsenal attacker, I wouldn't get rid of Gyökeres. So Reinders to Sarr for free if you can do that. Even if you can do Senesi to Timber for free, I don't think you can. But maybe just Reinders to Sarr. Let me know if you've enough for that though, Frona. You might have enough. We're nearly on 50 likes, which is great to see. If you haven't liked the stream, do consider going down there, giving the stream a like then as well. We're 40 minutes away from the deadline. So let's try and hit it if we can. Right, let's see. Is everyone else? I'm going to watch the All Blacks. I'm going to a birthday dinner tonight. And he's a Liverpool fan, this fella, so I don't think we'll have the rugby on. If anyone knows or follows me on social media, I've been Bundy Aki's content creator for the last while. So first time I met Bundy, and he's absolutely dead on then as well. But he's obviously over in Chicago for that game tonight. So maybe I'll try and keep a close eye on the game and see how Bundy gets on. But I'm not massively into rugby, massively into football obviously. But rugby isn't a sport I'm massively into. But if we're in a pub, they'll have the 2 games on. Maybe they'll have the Ireland game on over the Liverpool game. But that being said, if the Ireland game is on, I'll probably have a stream up on the phone of the Liverpool game. Sawdock, yeah, I'm going to watch the All Blacks. We'll keep a close eye. To answer your question, we'll keep a close eye. Abdullah, I already have Sarr and I can't afford Mateta, so it's between Thiago and Welbeck. Thiago, so if you're going between the two of those. Pubble Skull, good to see you in the chat, man. Raya, Van Neven, Gabriel, Van Dijk, Sarr, Gordon and Dice, Semenyo, Hallen captain, Mateta, Walter-made, Dubravka, Reinders, Senesi, Road. I've 1 free transfer left. Wonder going to change Van Neven or Van Dijk out. Van Dijk to Gabriel with 1 free transfer. Let's see though. Sarr, Gordon and Dice, Semenyo, Hallen, Mateta, Walter-made. You're in good shape there, to be fair. Van Dijk to Munoz is probably what I'd go for. Or if you can do Van de Ven to maybe a Crystal Palace lad and keep Van Dijk. Van Dijk's a good lad for the DEFCON, as we all know, but at his price point of 6 million, he's not going well for what we're paying for. I put a 50-cent bet in the European footy a month ago and had to wait in the last 3 games to come in for a 9-6 win. Had to ignore it, was unbearable like FPL. Well, I hope it did come in for you. That's some going off a 50-cent bet. Can you show the starting team, Frosty? We'll get that up for you then as well in a second. I don't have enough for Reinders to Sarr. I need to sell Gyökeres to get the funds. If you're going from Reinders to Sarr, leave it off. If you have to sell Gyökeres, you have to have an Arsenal attacker. I just had the luxury of 5 transfers, and that's why I brought in Saka and took out Gyökeres just to switch that up. Gyökeres could easily do very well this week. I just wanted to get him out and prioritise getting Saka into the team. That's all. Could be a mistake. Hopefully it isn't. Let's see. We're 1 off 50 likes, which is great to see then as well. If you can hit that like button, let's try and hit 50 likes. That'd be a lovely return on the stream then also. And if you are watching, I'm going to say this a couple of more times before the stream ends. If you are watching and you haven't subscribed, please do consider hitting subscribe. We are on the road to 10k subs. Some serious work we put into this channel, and I wouldn't be anywhere first off with the support from you all in this chat and everyone who watches my videos during the week. So thank you for that. But if you are watching and you're one of those that haven't subscribed, please do consider hitting subscribe. I don't have enough funds. Need to sell Gyökeres. Yeah, keep Gyökeres if you can't get anything else. Van de Ven or Isidore, don't be something. Isidore, get Isidore in over Van de Ven. Yeah, Isidore's been ticking along nicely. Four goals. Fair play for starting off them anyway. Four goals for him. Am I in a new office? No, I'm currently in a. Shout out to him. Do you know what? We'll give Rory a shout out. Shout out to GHR Consulting in Galway. My Wi-Fi still gone in the house. We're getting new Wi-Fi. I was waiting for people to move into my house. We're getting Wi-Fi sorted this week, so I should be back in my own bedroom next weekend if the Wi-Fi gets sorted this week. But shout out to Rory, my girlfriend's boss, for letting me use his office for the weekends the last couple of weeks. So good man, Rory. I don't think he's watching, but if he is, thank you for that, good man. But that's why the Celtic thing is behind me. He's a big Celtic supporter, so a doctor. Pubble Silver, hope we're keeping well, man. Pull Silver, sorry, hope we're keeping well. Frosty Vlogs, no bother at all. Yavia, gotta go. Thanks for answering every single question. Fair play to you. Best of luck this game week, everyone. Yavia, thank you, and thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that, man. Best of luck for the week. Sticking with Ndai starting, I think so. It's between Ndai and Guy. Mark Guy, sorry. Let's see. Going back to Paul's question, who to bench? Very close between Ndai and Enzo. 52% saying Enzo, 48% saying Ndai. I think I'm going to stick with starting Ndai myself, to be honest with you. I think I am. I think so. A few new subs there on the channel. Really do appreciate that, lads and ladies, for clicking sub. That's great to see. We got a nice boost so far this stream. Yeah, a lot of price rises and price falls this week. A lot of people not happy with how fast the price rises has been. Gabriel, any good Elliot Anderson alternative? Gabriel, Senesi, Poro and Munoz. I have to drop one. How much have you? Right. Do you think there's a chance Krupa Jr. starts next week? I'm wildcarding this week and I'm planning the bench boost next week. Evan Nielsen is travelling to the Etihad. It's going to be very, very harsh if the bench Krupa this week, so I think he starts this week. Whether or not he starts next week is tough. That's we can't really give an answer on that. He's going to start this week, surely, with Evan Nielsen only coming back now. But it would be very, very harsh if Areola benched Krupa after getting 3 goals in his last 2. Maybe with him picking up form, he is going to start. Maybe it's on Evan Nielsen to get back into the team himself. Would I go Krupa Jr. over Gui? You're paying 0.4 extra for Krupa Jr. Is there more chance Gui starts the Wolves game? Probably not then as well. So maybe just take the risk and go for it. He might get a couple of points or that, but not ideal. Or if you're on wildcard, maybe you go with 3 starting strikers and then go for a cheaper alternative in midfield. Maybe that's the way to play it, to be honest with you there. Elis in there. Maybe go for that. Take a hit again, Virgil van Dijk out. Jamie, probably not worth a hit. He is a good lad for the DEFCON. He's not worth the 6 million price tag. I had 5 free transfers, as you can tell by the title. That's why I took out Van Dijk. He wasn't living up to his price tag. Had to get Munoz in. Would Guehi not be decent to save 0.7 million? It would. I prefer Munoz. Munoz far more attacking than the lads. Maybe Guehi is better for the DEFCON. Munoz is back in the team for me. I had him earlier on the season. He didn't do great when I started him off. But yeah, I'd prefer Munoz. If you have the funds, get Munoz into the team there for sure. Right then, 32 minutes to go. I'm going to turn on this heater now for a sec. Hopefully it's not too loud. Do let us know if it's too loud. I can turn it off. Maybe it is a bit loud. We'll just heat this room up for a minute or two. Keep sending the questions if you can. I've got a decision to make on starting Reinders or sorry, not Reinders, sorry, Gui or Ndai. Anyone starting Gui on the timeline? I'm the biggest João Pedro fan this week. Fair enough. If you're keeping João Pedro, there's nothing wrong with keeping him. But if you can afford going from João Pedro to Mateta, there's a no-brainer on that. Get him into the team. Right, maybe that's a bit loud there then as well, so I'll turn it off in a second. Right, we're still waiting to hear back on that then. That's grand. Good stuff. Would have started Chalobah, Senesi or Rodon. Out of those, maybe Rodon. I can see all concede. More chance of an attacking return from Rodon. More chance of DEFCON from Senesi. And then Chalobah kind of fits into there. But at that price point for Chalobah, you can do a free transfer of Chalobah to a Crystal Palace lad. Maybe that's what I'll be going for there. Would you transfer out Foden too? Yeah, if you have Foden, get rid. Already have 0.1 and already got Gakpo, Rice, Semenyo and Caicedo. Who would you transfer Foden to? 8.1 million. You can't get to Mbeumo. Has to be Sarr. If you don't have Sarr, get Sarr into the team. That's an easy shout there. I'd go for that. Right then, good stuff. Half an hour to go until the deadline. Let's keep these questions coming if you can at all. Just having a scroll here on the timeline. Then also, what are we saying? Richards is good to go. Chris Richards has trained with the Crystal Palace first team today. So if you have Richards, definitely do start him. Looks like I'm the Saliba then as well. Saliba's a wait and see, which isn't ideal as a Saliba owner. It's grand for a Gabriel owner. Start Anderson or Mukulele. If you have Anderson, maybe you do start over Mukulele. Should be fine. Anderson is in definitely. Sounds pretty good. Right, that's all good for Anderson. So if you have Anderson, he'll be fine to start. People benching Semenyo. Wouldn't fully advise on it. Semenyo out. No, I wouldn't be doing that. Right, no, all good there. Bruno or Mbeumo this week. Mbeumo is the man in form. Bruno Fernandes has been unlucky. I think he just needs a penalty or is he going to get it against Forest? Maybe. Form wise, maybe Mbeumo. Obviously, you're kind of chasing points there from last week. And Mbeumo did look the United attacker to have when I was at that game last week against Brighton. So maybe if you don't have Bruno already, get Mbeumo over Bruno. But I already have Bruno, so he won't be leaving my team. He's good for the DEFCON anyway. At least he got the DEFCON. But I do think he's going to get a haul over the next couple of weeks. Forest and Spurs, and then can see what we're going to do with him after the Spurs game maybe. So Thiago and Xhaka or Krupa Jr. and Enzo and Dye again. I'm the one on the wildcard plan of the bench boost next week. Yeah. So Thiago and Xhaka or Krupa and Enzo and Dye. Thiago and Xhaka is safer for the bench boost. So I'd go for the first option there, Islam, if that's all right. Just you don't want to be worrying if Krupa Jr. is benched. As I said, he's going to start today. He should start today with Evan Nielsen coming back. But it would be very harsh if Iriola benches Krupa Jr. But then next week you don't want to be stressing if he's going to start or not. So Thiago and Xhaka is a better shout for, especially if you're bench boosting next week. Sell Reinders for a -4. Blaine for Sarr. Definitely go for it. Who else are your options? Let us know. But probably time to get rid of Reinders. If you need to take him out, take him out. Even if it's for a -4, if you can get to Sarr, go for that. Bench Dilemma, Bowen or Enzo. Probably would bench Enzo, start Bowen. He was pretty unlucky not to get a return last week. Bowen, he had a bicycle saved, had another decent chance against Leeds then too. So I wouldn't be too mad on benching Bowen. Keep him in the team there. 80-40, or do you know what? If you can do Bowen to Mateta, just do that. That's what I'll be going for. Dubravka, Calafiori, James, Guehi, Bruno Fernandes, Reinders, Enzo, Saka, Waltermaid, Haaland, João Pedro, Semenyo and Senesi on the bench. No, start Semenyo over Reinders, and then you're good to go then. Right, I'm gonna turn off this heat now again. Maybe it's coming across on the mic. But no, start Semenyo over Reinders. Don't be benching Semenyo. I can see Bournemouth getting one at least in that game. Right, 27 minutes to go until the deadline. Keep the questions coming if you can at all. Start Senesi or Rodon. More chance of some DEFCON from Senesi. More chance of an attacking return from Rodon. Maybe you the sensible pick is starting Senesi for DEFCON. Rodon, you're relying on a clean sheet, so maybe just Senesi. Right then, good stuff. Right, we're locked in myself. I think we'll get the team up then as well in a second. Just gonna throw up this on Twitter then as well, so bear with me. Senesi, Rodon, Trez, maybe Senesi with the DEFCON. Just who to bench out of those? If Paul is still here, Enzo is what the chat is saying to bench. Would you go to Timber instead of Munoz, as I have the funds? Powell Skull, prioritise double Arsenal first, and then you can worry about Munoz after that, or a Crystal Palace defender after that. Get double Arsenal first. Yeah. Do I think Gui starts, Alex? I think he does. I'm still gonna start in Dye over Gui, I think, but I do think Gui starts, especially with the lap out. Maybe I should start Gui over in Dye. That's one thing I'll have to decide on in the next 20 minutes or so. But for now, I'm starting in Dye over Gui. Right then, all good there. What else are we saying? Who to start between Paqueta and King, or take a -4 and replace Paqueta with Enzo? To start Paqueta, I don't think it's worth a -4, no. Yeah. Saka or Haaland for captain? I think you're going to have to go Haaland. Depends. Right, sorry, just throwing up a tweet here. I nearly went with the Italian flag because I was wishing one of my friends happy birthday who's from Italy. Trez, I trust you, appreciate that, man. Saka or Haaland for the captain? Yeah, Haaland for the captain this week. You can probably look towards going differential with the armband on Haaland next week when he's Liverpool. You can probably look towards maybe a Saka next week, but let's see how they get on during the week. Right then, yeah, just start Paqueta. MK, don't take the hit there. I wouldn't be going for that. What do you think about the idea of putting Gyökeres as captain instead of Haaland? Gyökeres is stink, so the fixture's there. It's not bad, the fixture, but I don't think I'd captain over Haaland. No, maybe next week. Let's see who gets on this week, but no. What about blank and double game weeks incoming? Yeah, there was going to be a chance of an Arsenal double game week, but someone who's a journalist pretty much confirmed that there isn't going to be double game week FPL. Let's get the right thing up on this. Let's get the right tweet up while we're going through this, if we can see it at all. Oh, so United, right, wow. Well, first off, Boxing Day will be the Game Week 18 deadline with just one game. FPL deadline is 6:30 on St. Stephen's Day, which isn't ideal at all for someone going to the pub on St. Stephen's Day. So United against Newcastle is on the Friday at St. Stephen's Day. Then early kick-off, Forest against City. And then Sunday, there's 2 games. So 6 on Saturday. Or 7, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, sorry. 7 on Saturday. 2 on the Sunday. 1 on Boxing Day evening. That's not ideal. Right, where is this? Yeah, so potential for double game week 16 plus blank game week 17. If this happens, then we're likely to know by the game week 11 deadline. So there could be a double game week for Arsenal in Game Week 16 against Wolves and Everton, and then Everton against Chelsea and Arsenal. But we'll know that before the deadline next week. I was sure I saw a journalist saying that it's not going to happen, but we as well wait and see if we do get anything on that before the deadline next week. Some outside of the right boot point with that crosswind. I'm off for a 21. Honestly, that was first day from Kevin then as well. That was an old video. I was going to be filming a captaincy video during the week, but it was absolutely pissing rain down on Wednesday, so I couldn't go out. So that's an old video, but that was the first shoot I did with Kevin from Kildare, and honestly, that was the first attempt. So he got off to a flyer, to be fair to him. Ride bench 1 Enzo Kudos or Semenyo, probably Kudos. Do Kudos to Star, and you're good to go then as well. Play 1 Van de Ven, Senesi, Alderete, probably Alderete. Oh, sorry, 21 kilometer attempt run now. Wow, Pubble Skull, best of luck with that. Some going, Jesus Christ, man. Mind yourself running that distance, good man. What about blank and double game weeks? Yeah, so we'll know before the game week 11 deadline if Arsenal and Everton are going to double in 16 and blank in 17. So that's why we should be keeping our free hits until then, or at least until we get an update. Right then, 20 minutes to go until the deadline. Keep the questions coming then as well. We're nearly on 60 likes, and if you wouldn't mind going on down there, click and subscribe on the channel. We're nearly on 8,130. We're 3 subs off that. If we could hit that before the rest of the deadline, that'd be very, very much appreciated. Go down there, click subscribe, and sure, while you're at it, click like on the channel then as well. But keep the questions coming in. 19 minutes now to go until the deadline. So yeah, okay, grand. Yeah, main thing now is starting Gui or Ndai, but I think I'm going to leave it on Ndai. Opinion on selling Van Dijk to Timber. Can't afford Gabriel. Get your second Arsenal defender in, or maybe if that's even your first Arsenal defender, definitely get that Arsenal defender in. You need at least 2. One Arsenal defender isn't enough these days, the way they're going then as well. So get Timber in if you can't afford Gabriel. You might have Raya already. Hopefully you do. Because if you don't, you're in big bother. I'd tell you to say make another transfer to get another Arsenal defender in. Xhaka rode on first bench. Xhaka first bench there. Tarkowski or Van de Ven. Start Tarkowski, yeah. Better chance of a clean sheet for Everton. I do think both of them will concede. Never mind the clean sheet. Better chance of DEFCON for Tarkowski then as well. So get that locked in then. A lot of people keeping João Pedro, it seems, then too, which is interesting. He's just been sinking up my team. Even with Pedro then as well, yeah, he does have the fixtures next week too, which might be a mistake getting rid of him, but I think I'm leaving him in there. Right then, yeah, Tarkowski there. Afternoon, Millie walked. Hope Millie's keeping well, buzzing about. Get the team locked in then as well. You've 18 minutes to get the team locked in. Send in any questions you have, mate. Good man. We're nearly 2 hours going here, which is good going. Is Sarah had to go Saren for Kudos. Worth the fixtures. What's the rest? In 12, so does Bournemouth, and Anderson is Sunderland home in 12. Eve as is, so was just $5.4 only for an Elliot Anderson replacement. Not many at that price. 5.4 for a midfielder. Nobody at that price. Cullen has been ticking along nicely with the DEFCONs there. 4, 4, 3, 14, 4. Nobody. Cullen. Someone looking for a 5.4 million midfielder. Not many options there, to be honest. Captain Saka or Haaland buzzing about. I think it has to be Haaland. Gabriel, Welbeck in, Gyökeres, Rodin out. What do you think? If you have Saka, yeah. If you have Saka, that's fine. Gabriel has to come in, which is priority then too. But fair. Right then. Start Senesi or Anderson. Probably Anderson this week. It looks like he is going to start, so I'd go for that. I don't have money for Lacroix and Munoz. What do you think about Richards? Probably go Richards. Yeah. Glasner said he's fine to play this week. You're saving a bit of money. And to be fair to Richards, he's been ticking along with some DEFCON 2. Guay, if you can afford Lacroix, maybe you can afford Guay. 0.1 cheaper than Lacroix, so maybe go with that. Let us know if you can afford that. But if you can't, Richards is your man then. Derek, go with Richards. That's all. Sal and Alice in the chat. Nice to hear you every week. Appreciate that. Good to see you in the stream. Then also appreciate that. We've 15 minutes to go until the deadline. Keep these questions coming. We've 15 minutes to go. As you can see by the title, I've 15, or sorry, not 15, I have 5 transfers locked in. Okay, fair enough. Right. Wow, okay. Right, 14 minutes now. Enzo over Ndai is if Paul is still there, nearly 100 votes on that. It's close on Ndai. Just with Ndai, he's more chance of the DEFCON. Both of them are on penalties, so you can't really compare that with the two of them. Should be on penalties, unless João Pedro decides to take one this week. Jeremy Pino or Enzo for starting. I think you have to go Enzo. Pino, I know he's with Palace, but I wouldn't be fully mad at him. How's his minutes is the next thing. He played during the week, did he not? Against Liverpool. Oh, she's not at that price point, is he? That's why he's not coming up. No, well, that's a great option. Affordable. Did he start last week? 58, 63, 87, 73, 5.8. I'd even go a sideways move and taking Jeremy out for Sarr. If you can get 0.7 from do that. MOHA, just do that. Get him out of the team. But out of those two, Enzo Fernandez over Jeremy Pino. Gabriel captain differential. He's a big topic on Twitter then anyway, but has to be Haaland. I think nothing wrong with going Gabriel captain. If you've Saka in the team, even Saka over Gabriel. But you'd be absolutely, if Arsenal do concede there, you'd be absolutely kicking yourself if you captain Gabriel. But there's a chance he could come away with a haul. I just don't like captaining defenders unless it's a double game week. There probably isn't a chance he gets DEFCON with how much Burnley won't threaten them much on their attacking output. Right, everyone happy there. I think it's time for Bruno for goal soon. Do we get 2 triple captains this year? We do. That's everyone replied to there. Grand. Sarah Truffaut or Juve? Not ideal on either. Can you go to a Crystal Palace lad there, Mark? Captain Saka or Haaland? Has to be Haaland. 80-40, head is wrecked over Enzo, Semenyo or Reinders. It's a midfield 4 to join Saka. Enzo, Semenyo or Reinders. Have to start Semenyo. I'd be starting Enzo over Reinders. You're good to go then. Alex, love the stream. Keep it up, man. I really do appreciate that. We've 11 minutes to go until the deadline. We're so close to hitting our 8130. We're one sub off that. I think we've nearly 50 in the chat then as well. If you are watching and you're not subscribed, please do consider hitting subscribe on the channel. We are on the road to 10k subs. We're ticking along nicely every week now, but we need your support as much as me showing up every week and much as having a decent rank to start the season. That being said, I do have my free hit and my triple captain left then as well, so we need to keep going up this rank. If I get a green hour this week, should be well inside the top 100 to 200k quota, which would be good to hit then. But if you would consider hitting subscribe on the channel, 10k subs is the goal. It'd be great to hit it before Christmas, 1st November, but getting 1900 subscribers in 2 months is definitely not doable. But do consider hitting subscribe, giving the stream a like if you haven't done so already. Your support is very much appreciated, and it's great to see everyone coming back every week for these streams then as well. So I need to keep performing in FPL to keep everyone coming back. But we're going well. We are going well this season. You can see the ranks if you are new to my channel then as well. You can see my ranks in my description then below. I do get consistent ranks every year. Head is wrecked over Enzo, Semenyo, Reinders. It's midfield 4 to join Saka. Just Enzo, Semenyo, bench Reinders. Would you take a chance if you're chasing and captain Gyökeres, Mark? I'm assuming you don't have Saka, so I wouldn't captain Gyökeres this week. You'd be kicking yourself if Haaland goes wild, which he's well capable of going wild. But with Gyökeres, he's been absolutely stink the last 5 weeks. Fair enough, it might be the week that Gyökeres does well against Burnley, but I don't think it is. Between Haaland and Gyökeres, if I was a betting man, I'd be betting on Haaland to get more points this week. What's my final team? We'll get into my final team now. Will you start Mukulele? I think I will. Right, let's get my final team up there. Free hit this week? Nah, man. No, I'm not on the free hit this week. But if you are using your free hit, triple Arsenal, triple Crystal Palace, not triple, but maybe a Fulham defender against Wolves, maybe an Mbeumo or Bruno Fernandes against Nottingham Forest, and maybe the odd Newcastle defender maybe then as well. I don't think it's the week to free hit, to be honest with you. People already have triple Arsenal already, so there's not much ground being made up there. Right, this is my team. Anyhow, let's get that up there. Make sure you can all see that okay. Mark, will he play? He probably will. I'm currently not starting him. I've got Ndai and Semenyo starting over Marquis. It might be a mistake. He could do well against Spurs if he is starting. I do think he will start, but I'm happy enough to leave him on the bench. I think I am anyway. 8 minutes to go until the deadline. Keep those questions coming in if you can. So if anyone is joining late, 5 free transfers made. They were in my YouTube video during the week, but Sarr, Munoz, Mateta, Saka and Gui in for Gyökeres, João Pedro, Caicedo, Reinders and Van Dijk. They're my moves on this week. Interesting. Okay. Would you start Gui or Ndai? Let's who to start? Let's get that to the. Let's get that to the chat there. That's my last. That's my last dilemma. I think I'm locked in as is anyhow. We're staying on that, I think, yeah. 55 in the chat now then as well, which is great to see, and it's great to see that we passed 8130 subs, so really do appreciate that. Right then, 7 minutes to go. Think of Gabriel captain. If you do want to do Gabriel, go for that. Should I start in Ndai or Anderson? Start in Ndai. Is it worth taking out Gakpo for Sarr? Probably not. Can you get the likes of a Kudos to Sarr, a Reinders to Sarr? Maybe keep Gakpo. You'll want Liverpool assets in the next couple of weeks, but surely, Shane, let us know. Can you get another route to get Sarr in? If you can't, maybe I would go for it just while Gakpo has Newcastle and City, or Villa and City. Sorry, Villa and City over the next two. So maybe I'd move him on and try and capitalise on Sarah's fixtures. Bench 1, kudos Caicedo, Elliot Anderson, but do your kudos to Sarah move there. That's what we're doing for it. Does Reinders play a top mid or CDM? Seen last game he played CDM. Yeah, there's every chance he could be CDM again this week, Alex. Sorry, that's why I moved him out of the team, and he's not ticking along nicely like he was. Well, he only ticked along nicely against Arsenal, and I can't remember who they played the first game of the season. When he got his only haul. Should I start in Dyer Anderson and Die again? Mark Wee, I think he will start. I'm benching him though. Choose one, please. It'll make sense, but I want to do something different. So just confirm. Choose one, please. Fast, Jesus. At least he said please, I suppose. Dubravka, Trufer, Senesi, Anderson, Sarminta, Enzo. This one. Right. Jason in the chat then as well. FPL, any thoughts? Petrovic, Gabriel, Van de Ven, Richard, Semenyo, Saka, Enzo, Gakpo, Gyökeres, Mateta, Haaland. Any money? Jason is going well. He's doing well this season. Who to start, Reinders or Gyökeres? Gyökeres definitely. Does Reinders play? Yeah, sorry Alex, I think he's going to play a CDM again. Start Tarkowski or James. A lot of money to be benching there. Yeah, with your defenders there. Probably start Tarkowski there. Move James onto Munoz if you can though. Jason left the team over in the Patreon group. See what you think of one free transfer. How much have you in the bank, Jason? And we'll get back to you quick. Yeah. Right then. One to bench, Reiner, Xhaka, Mukiele. Probably Mukiele out of those, but it's very close between Reiner. There's more chance of an attacking return from Reiner, obviously as a midfielder, but I'd feel bad to bench Mukiele. Bench Reinders and play Rodon or Senesi, or stick with Reinders. Bench Reinders, play Rodon or Senesi. Leave Reinders over those. Yeah, Rodon or Senesi will struggle to get a clean sheet this week. Best of luck, Alex. Good man. Cheers for tuning in as well. Bench 1, Semenyo, Sarr, Enzo, Ndai, Sarr, Mateta, Waltemoid. Enzo out of those. I'll be benching Enzo from there. Right, 4 minutes to go. Get your teams locked in. No money in the bank, Jason. Right, let's get back to your team. So Gabriel, Van de Ven, Richards, Semenyo, Saka, Enzo. Leave as is. You're going well, Jason. Leave as is. Cheap mid for 5.2 million. Nobody. Cullen for Burnley is the only one around that price who's getting consistent DEFCONs. You don't want anyone at that price, so I wouldn't be making a transfer unless you're on wildcard. Fair enough, but not anything else after that. Right, 3 minutes to go. We're nearly on 70 likes. Let's try and hit 70 likes before the deadline goes. Just 3 minutes to go. And if you watched us for the last 2 hours or so and you still haven't subscribed, please do hit subscribe. Your support is very much appreciated. It's why I'm putting time into this channel, and I really would appreciate it if you could hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hopefully you've enjoyed that over the last 2 hours. 3 minutes to go. I made all my transfers before the stream, but let's see how we get on. Having big faith in Crystal Palace lads, so I need them to do well. Start Anderson or Senesi. Anderson, that's the Fulham Anderson, I'm assuming. Start him, yeah. Declan Rin, no bother at all. You're welcome there, man. Jason, good man. Sorted, good stuff. Ndai or Thiago or Minta. For the bench boost. I'm starting Munoz, so I'd say Thiago. Reinders or Pedro starts. Start Pedro over Reinders. Get rid of him for Mateta if you can afford, though. Get him gone. Any idea when the triple captain before game week 19? You've either Haaland against Sunderland, Haaland against Leeds, or Salah against Leeds. Is what I line up. I think it's 13, 14, 15, isn't it? So Haaland against Leeds, game week 13, maybe could be going that, to be honest with you. Liverpool against Sunderland midweek, Salah against Sunderland maybe, or Haaland against Sunderland in game week 15. So it's 13, 14, 15 is where I line up the triple captaincy. So we'll see where we go from there. A few new subs there, which is great to see. I really do appreciate that, and thank you for that. Any idea on Guehi or Anderson? Surely you can start the two. Anderson is back fit anyhow. Surely you can get fit the two of them in. Brian, let us know the rest of your team there quickly if you can before the deadline goes. Enzo Caicedo's at risky with Rice, Semenyo, Bruno. Bench Caicedo. Next week, Dubravka and Esteva play West Ham, and yeah, decent shout for the bench boost. See how Gui gets on today, but he should be fine. And that's the deadline. Wow, that went quick. Cheers, bro. Thinking the same. There we go. Make sure I have the captaincy on Haaland, which I do. Grand, all good there. That's another deadline. Right, we're going for... How long are we going there? Does it even say? We're just about to hit 2 hours streaming then. So I really do appreciate everyone who has tuned in over the last while or so. If you are still watching, before you all go, you haven't subscribed, please do click subscribe on the channel. We are on the road to 10k subs. Great to see we passed 70 likes on the stream then too. But that's it. That's another deadline stream. I'm absolutely freezing, so I'm going to throw on this heater once again. Maybe I might throw on my jacket then as well. Are Burnley at home to West Ham next week? It's away from home. Burnley are away. West Ham are home then, yeah. But yeah, that's another deadline. Will we get some lineups quickly? Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Any other questions, do send them in. If anyone's in Manchester, or if anyone who's a City fan and wants to film some Tops videos with me outside the Etihad on Wednesday night, come over and say hello. You can get some free cards out of it. I'm meant to be going to the City Dortmund game during the week, just waiting for confirmation from Man City if the tickets will get sent to me tomorrow, Monday. Prediction for the United game, Brian, Cody, I think we win that 3-1, or we win by 2 anyway. If it's 2-0 or 3-1, I think we win that. Surely we do. And what a week then it'll be for the United strand. One win away from a haircut. If you watch that Paddy Power video, it's so good. It's such good marketing. Give that Paddy Power video a watch if you haven't seen it, with the United strand. Right then, that's a deadline stream gone. I think we're gonna log off now and finish me scone first off. I didn't get to finish me coffee because it went cold quickly. But yeah, that's another deadline stream. If you have enjoyed it and you are still watching and you're not subscribed, please go down there, click subscribe on the channel. We are on the road to 10k subs. We have to hit 9k first off then as well. Marcus, thanks for tuning in, man. Best of luck for the week also. Hopefully that's not too loud, the heater then, so I'm gonna do my outro right now and get this done. But yeah, we need a green arrow. All eyes on Crystal Palace today. Haaland captain. All eyes on Bukayo Saka over Gyökeres then as well. It would be typical if Gyökeres and João Pedro Hall today after taking them out this week after 5 blanks in a row. So let's see how that goes. As always, thanks to you all for watching and tuning in for the last 2 hours or so. Your support is very, very much appreciated. We're going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Best of luck for the week. We'll see for a team selection video during the week also. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.